be without fear is in the now. I'm learning how. Fast life, no thanks, no, I'm doing just fine.
Where are you, in Italy?
No, I'm in Zurich, in
Oh,
Switzerland.
Zurich, okay.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
you're Italian, huh? Come va oggi? Don't.
No, actually, yeah, I could, but no, I'm from Iran originally.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I knew there was, I didn't know if you were from Iran or you were from Italy. So, because you kind of look Italian, but now that you say from Iran, by the way, some of my favorite people I know are from Iran. Beautiful people, hearts, hardworking, family people, stubborn people, but I love them. I love them.
And welcome. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Are there many Iranians in Nashville?
Not too many, but in Los Angeles, when I lived there,
that's where
I had so many friends. I did business with them, good people. They're tough business people, but they keep their word. Yeah. And that's what I like. When they say something, they do it. Yeah. And that's what I love about them.
Good to hear. It was so cool to sort of Clubhouse meet you, I guess. And I just loved your energy, and I'm sure you hear it all day long every day, So
I mean, I'm always good to people. I don't care who they are, whatever. I'm just nice. I don't take myself serious. All my old friends that knew me when I grew up very poor, I grew up in a very bad area, single mom. And they always say, man, you never change, Paulie. You're like the same kid when you were young, and you look still young, like you're still full of energy. And they just say, like, we never saw somebody rise up and still is like the same guy. So that means a lot when people say that, because that's my whole mindset.
So first, do you think, nurture versus nature, do you think that you were born with that personality type, or is it something that you have to work on?
I think my mom, although she did some things because she grew up in former communist country, she kind of was scared and had the scarcity, but she taught me about loyalty, character, keeping your word, being a principled guy. Don't be rude to people, be kind to people. And, as because I was a good boxer, and as I got stronger and more talented in boxing, she used to tell me, do never beat up people. You should use your strengths to help people that are getting bullied by people. So I think there's a little of both. I think I was a little born, but I think my mom nurtured the good character. And then I just took it to the next level. And of course, my mom was a scarcity, scared. What are the people going to think? What are the neighbors? Iranians, I'm sure the parents feel that way too, because we all have that kind of culture that we give to our kids the things that are necessary. And it's not always talking about money and you should go get money. But I think we know together that money is important, but it's never it doesn't change us, because our cultures, our families teach us the principles about being loyal and character driven. And I think that was nurtured in me, but I think the entrepreneur in me was born in me. So there's a little of both. It's really hard to kind of pinpoint it,
So when you're mentioning having dreams, so what did those dreams look like? Were they really vivid? Did you know exactly what you wanted?
Oh my God, they were so vivid. I'm going to tell you, when I grew up in the projects, right, where it was government housing, and my mom never took a handout from anybody. She didn't know the language. She was scarcity, single mom, but she worked all the time. And she cleaned people's houses. She made do with what she had. And she was able, because she was a single mom, she was able to get this government housing, and you could pay what your salary is, right? Your yearly thing. So it was really nice. And we lived on the 3rd floor. And in the back where my room was, I had a little room, there was a window and it overlooked the city lights because we lived in the inner city. So I had $1 million view living in the inner city. So this is a God's honest truth. I would look out of that window and I would hear people fighting in the alley because it faced the alley. And there was a lot of our houses where I grew up were really tagged together. It wasn't like where I live now. I have land and all that. So I would look out of that window and I would say, I'm getting out of this place. I'm leaving this place. Soon as I can leave, I'm leaving. But I just kept working. I said, I'll never do drugs. I'll never hang out with the bad kids. I'm never going to get in trouble. I'm going to do something with my life because I wasn't good at school. I'm dyslexic. And back then, I'm in my 50s. So back then, they didn't know how to fix the problem of being dyslexic.
Did you even know you were dyslexic?
Yes, they did. We did know. My grade 2 teacher she had like this reading club, and I was a smart kid. I had personality, I talked with my hands, and I was a nice kid. I was, bright, and I had friends, but she's like, why can't this guy read? He's in grade 2. He's smart at everything else. Why can't he read? So back then they were just figuring it out. This was in the 70s. And so she brought in people in the reading club to so they kind of knew. I don't know if I understood what this dyslexic was back then, but she knew. And she was saying, look, it's not your fault. Like she's trying, and I remember being upset about it and all that. But it just created this thing where I kind of resisted school, even though I always went to school. I enjoyed going to school. I didn't play hooky and I didn't drop out. I tried my best, but my best wasn't giving me A's and B's. It was giving me D's and C's. But I was good at drama. I was good at gym class, like athletics. So I always thought like either I'm going to be a boxer or I'm going to be maybe a musician or an actor or something, but I'm not going to stay here. So I used to look out of that window and I literally would just dream about doing something with my life. So yes, when you asked me that, I knew I would not be there. I knew I was going to be successful.
Did you know in what, or it was just more the principle?
To be honest with you, I thought it was going to be in like something physical, like boxing or drumming. I used to play drums. I still play drums. I'm not in a band or anything, but I was in a band. I went to California, so I played in a band and I was boxing. I did both. And I was trying my best to make it there. And somewhere in my journey of my dream, I found out I could sell and I could do business. Because in my neighborhood, nobody talked about business people or success. We all thought like either you're going to become a rapper, a musician, like an athlete or something, and you're going to get out of the ghetto, or you're going to get out of this humble beginnings. And for me, I had that same thing. I'm going to use something. Maybe like I'm going to get into the movies or I'm going to be in a band. I just picked up one day. I decided I was going to move to California, and I illegally left and came to California. I ripped up my ticket in June 1989, June 6th. I ripped up my ticket because back then they would give you paper, not like on the phones. And I ripped it up. I threw it in LAX. I threw it in the garbage. I said, I'm never going back. I picked up my 2 bags at the baggage claim with my life in it. 2 bags with my life, a couple of $1,000s in my pocket. And I went on my journey. And somewhere in that journey, real quick, I found that I was pretty good at business. I just didn't know because nobody ever taught me. And I met this guy and he said, you would be really good at selling. You have a personality, you're a good people person. And no one ever talked like that in my neighborhood. People knew I had a personality, but no one ever talked about like, you're gonna have success, you're gonna own businesses and all that. We didn't talk like that, you know. And when I got out there, I met this guy. He said, look, I would like to try you out. And I told him, I said, I'm illegally here. He goes, it doesn't matter. I'll pay you cash. And I jumped in this audio business selling speakers and home theater surrounds. And I became the best sales guy. And then I bought the company from him and I took over and I grew it to 7 offices around the country while I was still boxing and still playing drums.
How old were you?
I was 19 years old.
Wow.
19. By the time I was 23 years old, I had over $1 million in my freezer cash, because I couldn't have a bank account. I couldn't have a bank account. And I was making like, when I tell you, because we grew the business to 7 offices, we were making around 150, 200,000 a month cash.
If you had never been educated, obviously that kind of money you probably couldn't even consider ever touching or having in your possession. So how were you able to deal with having so much money and, you know, not get lost in what it meant, because you didn't have the proper education to deal with that sort of, you know, wealth?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Because I never drank or did drugs or, you know, smoked. I didn't chase. I'm not a club guy. I didn't go out dancing and clubbing. I literally, honestly, I started learning. And so I would put my money. I had a nice guy. I bought a 635 BMW for cash off an Iranian guy. They in Santa Monica. I went to Santa Monica, and I had like long hair, and I looked like a rock star. And I walked on the lot, and I said, I want to test drive that car. I was eyeballing it, and I wanted it. And he, like, I don't think at first he took me serious, because I was like, at this point, I was 20 years old and I looked like a kid and I had long hair, and I don't blame the guy, but he turned out to be an awesome guy. And I actually used to walk around with a wallet that was like a handbag. It was a leather wallet, man purse is what they call it. And I had the money with me. I brought the money with me to buy this car. And so I walked in. It was kind of like not a big dealership. It was kind of like a nice dealership, nice quality used Mercedes, things like that. So I liked the BMW 635i, and I never had a car in my life. That was the first car I bought. And I walked in and I took out the cash and I put it on the table and I said, who's going to help me test drive that? And the guy did it. And we became really close on the test drive. And I ended up becoming friends with him and bought other cars from him. But that was my first thing that I bought with my money. Other than that, I didn't spend money. I had a nice apartment. I lived in Studio City, California, and I furnished it beautiful. I'm very neat and I like nice things and clean, you know? And so I furnished it. I went to Koreatown and I picked out the furniture I liked and I brought it and I cleaned everything and nice and made it nice. And that's kind of, I was always artistic. So my place looked really nice, had the money in my freezer. And all I did was I went to train and I went to play my drums with the band I was in at that time. So I didn't spend no money. I lived way below my means. And my mom used to always save money. So she taught me, don't spend your money on stupid stuff. And as I started getting more and more educated, I was able to take the money and buy real estate with it. That's kind of how I got into real estate. So I bought my first house for cash. And my girlfriend at the time, we put it in her name. And she ended up becoming my wife. And so we bought the house for cash in Las Vegas. I ended up moving to Las Vegas because I opened up an office in Las Vegas, and that was my best office for the speaker thing. And so we ended up buying a beautiful house, brand new house, high ceilings. I furnished it in Koreatown. I rented a truck because there I got way better deals. And I'm always a wheeler and dealer. I paid them cash and I made friends there. I built relationships. I brought all the furniture and I had the baby grand, the whole 9 yards. And I was starting to see my dreams come true. And I did it from hard work and dedication. And nobody handed it to me, but I ran into people that helped me along the way become a better business guy, understand how to invest my money and all that.
So many topics, but you were still illegal at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how long did it take you for you to take yourself out of that situation? Were you able to sponsor yourself or?
No, I ended up getting married 5 years in,
Okay.
5.5 years in. And I was able to get my paper. So hence why I bought my house for cash, because I couldn't get a loan. I had to pay cash. So I had to filter the money through my girlfriend's bank account slowly and surely to buy the house. And we ended up buying a house for cash.
So how has your definition of success changed or not from before when you're humble beginnings, but you were so young as well, to now that you have, reached a certain level of success and wealth?
The thing for me for success, I mean, I would lie to you if I said I don't care about money, because anybody tells you that, it's just, they're trying to be a cool guy, whatever, like, you know. So success, I think you measure it by like your success in making money in business and helping others in business, empowering people. But for me, it's going to sound weird, but I remember the first time I felt successful. And it wasn't when I bought the car. It wasn't when I counted my money, because I didn't even realize I had $1 million until one Saturday when I had to thaw out my money. Because believe it or not, money freezes in your freezer. That paper freezes. I didn't know. So I had to thaw it out. It was all over my Studio City apartment and I had the curtains and everything closed. I said, man, if someone came in right now, they would think I'm counterfeiting because it was all wet and stuff. True story. It's taking me back there, so I'm laughing. But I remember being scared. I was like, oh my God. I knew I had a lot of money. I just didn't know I had that much, because I would come home from work and all the people would pay me, and then I would just wrap it up and put it in the tinfoil to make it look like meat, and I'd put it in there because I couldn't have a bank account. I was illegally here. So make a long story short, so I remember the first time I felt successful is when I was living in my first house I paid cash for. And it was very hot in Las Vegas. It's hot, hot, hot in the summer. And I remember when we were kids, we didn't have air conditioning. In the winter in Canada, it gets cold. And my mom would keep it cold because she didn't want to pay the bill. She was like always saving. And I remember thinking, I can't keep this house this cold. You know, I need to go and it's okay if I'm a little uncomfortable and be hot in the house or cold in the winter in the house. And I remember the first time I went to do it and I caught my filter that was embedded in me as a kid, like take the lights off, the electricity bill, and don't put the heat up or don't put we don't have, you know what I'm saying? We don't have the money to pay for this. And I remember almost doing it and I caught myself and I said, wait a minute, I can pay this bill, no problem. And to me, that was the first time I felt successful. That's the truth. That was the first time I was like, wow, like I don't have to worry about the lights being on or when it's winter to put it heat in the house and walk around with no shirt on in the winter. Because we would walk around with sweaters in our house when we were growing up. And so I felt, or when I could buy food, the food that I wanted with the labels on it, not the non-label one, that kind of stuff. So it was like, for me, it's a little different success, when I can help a family that didn't have anything and I can help the kids and buy them Christmas gifts. To me, that was successful. Or that's when I could actually do what my heart wanted to do when I didn't have no money. That was success for me.
How about today? Still the same?
Absolutely. It's still the same. If you knew me on a deep level, and I still have the same friends from 40 years ago, I grew up in the same neighborhood, and they always say, you have not changed. You're still the same guy. And yeah, I mean, obviously I have houses, I have all that, watches, whatever. And they're nice. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to act like some cool guy, but I'm just so simple. I still wear clothes from, like TJ Maxx. I'm just a simple guy. Like, I'll wear flip-flops, a t-shirt, and some jeans. That's my work attire.
And has your mom been able to see this?
No.
No, she was not.
No, she never. My mom had a stroke. She's still alive in Canada. She's still alive, my mom. She knows what's going on, but she can't talk. She can't walk. And it's sad because she worked all her life and she never saw her son. And my mom, it's weird because my mom was not like most moms. She wasn't. My mom was tough on us, and she would stop talking to me if I did something against her. And so as I was rising as a business guy and success, whatever you want to call success, she never visited me. She did. I would say, look, Ma, I'll send you a ticket. Come visit me. She never did. She was, most of the time she was mad. My mom hated my father. And when I got older, my father came and searched me out. And I didn't know my father until I was like 20. And I started talking to my father again because he was my father. I forgave him. I understood. And my mom hated him with a passion. And when I met him, I was like, wow, he's not that bad, what she said to me. And so I think my mom felt a betrayal there from me. And I remember when I got married and she didn't want to come to my wedding, and my dad did when I got married. And so it became this thing where I'm like, wow, like I worked my whole life and my mom's never been, I've been living here 9 years. Before my mom had a stroke or anything, she'd never seen my house, nothing. My house in Florida, my house in Kentucky, in Nashville, nothing. She's never seen it. And I'm not one to brag. Like, I didn't show her pictures. Like, I just keep it to myself. Most of my friends that I grew up with don't even know what I have, to be honest with you.
Well, going back to the whole Clubhouse intros of I've got this and that, I much prefer this. I think it's much cooler, in my opinion. People will see humility is so much sexier than a bragging thing, because people will discover it's like an onion that you peel, and one layer at a time you get to discover the core of what's inside of that onion. I think to me it's much more appealing. That's my opinion, but I think.
Thank you for saying that. I mean, I'm just not insecure. I'm not an insecure person.
Right. So what would you say to someone who wants to get somewhere but has a dream but has no resources, or not your personality type, or not a mentor, and they sort of feel stuck and they don't know where to start and how to get started? What would you advise them?
This one's easy. Find somebody that you want to be like, or want to do like. If you want to be in that industry, find that person and try to add value to them somehow. Like you might not have money, you might not be able to do much for them, but show them that you really care and show them that you really want to succeed. And most successful people, at least I know for myself and some of my friends, and of course I know successful guys, and I choose who I hang out with. I'm very specific on who I allow in my life. So you want to find the people that are more like you, and you'll find out that they're willing to help you. And I've helped so many entrepreneurs that didn't have money. I've coached people for free. I've taken people under my wing. I've empowered them. They've come to me, and sometimes they can't add value, but they're good people and they want to learn. And I think people that are successful want to help people. And if you show that interest and that hard work and add value to them, you can achieve the success alongside with them. And then don't ever forget that they did that for you. Be very, very loyal. And I mean, I talk about loyalty all the time, but I do loyalty. I do loyalty because we talk about principles, character, and loyalty, but we only know if somebody's really like that when the spot happens and you have to do it. People talk about I don't cheat on my husband or cheat on my wife, right? I don't. Not because she won't know, it's because I won't. I will know. And I'm loyal to my friends because sometimes they might not know, but I would know. And if you're a true character and you're a true human with the heart and the soul and the character that you talk about, you need to do it when nobody's looking. And that's the difference between me and everybody else. And yeah, my standard's very high, but that standard is something that I actually do and not just talk about. That's the difference.
You walk your talk.
I try every day.
Have you ever failed? And what do you think about failure or making mistakes?
I fail every day. I make mistakes Here's the difference between me and everybody else. Even the people on Clubhouse and all this, they're all smart and they've never failed. And I talk about my failures all the time. I think it's important to embrace them because that's where, I remember when I was a boxer, and I was a pretty good little boxer when I was a kid. I was a highly decorated amateur. And then I turned pro in California, in Van Nuys. I fought at 10 Goose Boxing. And I remember when I lost, and I was very upset, like it hurt, it killed me. But for the first time, but I remember what I did wrong and I learned by it. And it made me have the fire again. I lose in business all the time. Sometimes you buy the wrong house or buy the wrong building. It's not making the money you thought, but you're learning as you're failing. And I embrace that. If you notice, most people talk about how much they made. I love to tell students and people what I lost when I made the mistake, how I should have kept more of my houses that I flipped, and I should have used bank money and leverage a little bit more, think bigger. I was still caught in the scarcity mindset like my mom gave me. I talk about those failures and still to this day, I fail every day, but I catch myself more and more.
Mm-hmm. And so what is your internal dialogue when that happens? I mean, do you beat yourself up for it?
I mean, look, I'm pretty hard on myself, but I mean, I know how to move forward, I hate losing. I don't like to lose, but I've also learned as an athlete being a boxer, when I would go against another man in the ring and I lost, although I was angry, I still lost with graciousness. And I would tell the guy, hey man, it's a great fight. I love you, bro. And that's, a lot of people wonder what we're saying after a fight. And that's what we're saying, man. You're the toughest guy I fight. No, you're the toughest guy. I love you, man. Thanks for the good fight. So you have to learn how to lose. You just don't want to get happy with it and be okay with it. But yet when you do lose, you have to pick up the pieces and just move on. Because if you sit there and, you know, dwell on your mistakes every day, you're going to live a negative life. I like to stay in the positive zone, you know, and I'm a very positive guy. Like anybody who knows me, they're like, dude, that guy is always happy, positive, energetic. You know, no matter what's going on, he just gets it done. And I think that's part of learning how to lose graciously, is to be able to get past it and keep going in a positive way.
That's so important. And um, no, it's amazing. You're so inspirational. I love your energy. And
You're awesome. You're awesome.
I got sidetracked for a second. So what would you say to someone who wants to get into real estate but has no clue, has a little bit of money and wants to invest their money, but they really don't know where to start, who to contact, and how to make the most, intelligent decisions? And because what they have is really pretty much that's all that they have. That they
Yeah,
don't.
that's a great question. I think anybody who wants to get in real estate needs to know how to do it, because 78% of people lose their money in real estate. The problem is no one talks about their losses, only the gains. So if you don't know what you're doing, it's very easy to lose your money. So you want to get, again, you want to get coaching. I would hire a coach. You don't have to spend 20, 30, 40,000. That's ludicrous. You just have to find somebody in your local area that's doing it, a mentor. Maybe he might even coach you for free. I've done it many times. I've helped people for free. But I also have a coaching program, which I'm not promoting here, but I have 64 students, and I actually care about my students. You could hear my voice. I'm on the phones, I'm on Zoom calls, I'm with them. I'll get on a plane and fly to their project and help them. So you have to choose the right coach that actually wants to help you instead of make money. I don't coach for money, but I think when you pay for something, you you do more for it because it costs you pain. Sometimes pain is a pain. You've got to part with your money. So I think when you get something for free, you're not going to take it as serious. So I love coaches. I have coaches. I've paid, seriously, I probably spent $500,000 in coaching myself. Okay. So when I say this, I love coaches, and I think everybody should have a coach. But when you're first starting out, don't seek the most expensive coach if you don't have money, but seek someone that you have to pay, because you'll take it more serious. You'll do the work. You'll be like, man, I paid this guy 1,000. I need to do this. And I need to make the calls. I need to learn. I need to read that book, he tells me. I need to listen to that YouTube. I need to go on the job site. I need to talk to that person on the phone. I need to build a relationship with the real estate agent, and so on. You have to know your craft. And what I tell people is, don't overanalyze. Once you have the basics and you have a good foundation, then go, and speed of implementation, do it. And then you will learn as you go along too, because you have that good foundation and you'll learn. There's nothing better to gain knowledge by doing. You can't read what me and you are talking about in a book, because this is real life. I'm a real life guy. I'm not a book guy. I didn't go to college. I don't use words I can't spell. I'm not trying to be someone I'm not. I'm just me. So be you in that pursuit of success in real estate, and find the person that you mesh with well, and then learn as you go, and you'll see, like, you can make good money. But I just want to caution people, too, and I'm honest. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's a get rich for sure scheme, but it's going to take you a long journey. And it could take you 10 years, 15 years. And you have to understand that when you first get into it, it's going to take a long time for you to have that really deep rooted foundation so that you can learn how to build a wealth machine, not just flipping a house or wholesaling a house or doing a small building. It takes a long time to gather all the information and put it together.
What is one underestimated tip that you could share? Something that people don't think about?
Underestimated in real estate. In real estate, well, most people, they watch TV shows and they see like 1 hour, the house is done, beautiful. They make $100,000 American or $100,000, UK pounds, right? And it's easy. It's not easy. There's so many moving parts. It's not just easy to call a contractor and say, fix this house up nice. They might not show up. They might take your money and never show up again. So you have to understand the fundamentals, and it's not as easy as they make it look on TV. That's a very underestimated thing. People think like, oh, it's a foreclosure, it's a distressed property. I'm going to buy it, fix it up, and I'm going to make money. If you don't buy it right, even if it's a foreclosure and it's a soiled house and it's distressed property, it doesn't mean that you're going to make money. You have to understand your numbers.
Got it. So now that we've been in this pandemic situation for over a year and a lot of negativity and fear and uncertainty, but I always believe that behind every closed door, there's another one waiting to be open. So what would be one positive thing that you can instill in people or share with people so they have a little bit of hope amidst all this adversity and chaos that they're living in?
Well, I think through adversity, you gain a lot of strength. And I remember when I opened up my first office in the audio business when I was really young. I was like maybe 19, going on 20. And there was a big earthquake, the Northridge earthquake, back in like 92, 3, something like that. And I remember I already was pretty successful. We were making a lot of money, had a lot of money in my freezer. And when the earthquake happened, I got to work and I allowed that earthquake to not make me sell that day. And all my guys, all my sales guys in my office went out to sell, and they came back and nobody sold anything. And they used the earthquake as a crutch, and they used it and said, well, nobody wanted to buy from us today. Like everybody was talking about the earthquake, and, they weren't interested in what we were talking about. And I remember that night coming back, and I did one sale. I was the only one. I did one sale. I typically would do 5, 6, 7 sales a day. And that day I did one sale, and I allowed it to affect me and my guys. And I remember that night I was really angry at myself. And I was like, nothing really changed when I was talking to people except for what I thought in my own head. So fast forward, the next day, I went into work and I motivated my guys and told them, don't use the earthquake. Don't let people talk about it. Go out there and focus the way we did before the earthquake. Fast forward, I ended up doing 8 sales that night, that day. My guys came in on zeros, all of them. I was the only one that sold like normal day. Matter of fact, I actually had a little bit better than normal day. And I was excited. But one thing I learned that day, and of course, I showed my guys, and that's part of the fun of the story. But I want to make this clear because it's the question you asked me about the pandemic. That night, I felt more powerful than any other day because I realized one thing, that nobody controls what I make except for me. Not an earthquake, not a pandemic, not a president, not a Democrat, Republican, a system, where I live, who brought me up, where I was raised, what my ethnicity is, nothing. It was all inside of me. And when I realized that, I felt so powerful. And I realized that I control everything. And I want people to understand is you control everything in your life. The pause, like I have great friendships for 40 years, 25 years, 30 years, because I exude the greatness. I don't hurt my friends. I'm not disloyal to my friends. I'm honest to my friends. I'm positive to my friends. I'm character to my friends. My family, my wife, my wife doesn't worry about me cheating on her and going and, and old girls smiled at me when she doesn't worry because she knows who I am. She knows I'll never do it. That is what you create your own destiny. You create who you are. So pandemic, uncertainty, create what you want to be. We have to wear masks, create what you want to be. You think your business is going out of business, get a new business, repivot, understand what is needed in the world today and go for it. Don't allow anything or anyone to get in your way. And you have to be passionate about it. And when you are, you will have the success like nobody's business. And remember this, don't spend all your money. Don't over leverage your life because you never know when there's a bumpy road. You can kind of stabilize yourself and then get back on the warpath to become successful and repivot again. And have those principles. And, the stress, people always say, I'm all so stressed out. I'm so stressed out. I'm stressed out, right? I don't get stressed out. I mean, I have my bad days, but I don't allow stress and BS to get in my way. I just want positive people around me. And I drive I'm a driving force every day. I'm in the gym every day working out so I can have the energy. I eat well. I don't, like I said, I don't do substances and all that. When I have a sore neck, I don't take Advil or pain medicine because I know it's not good for you. And if you want greatness in your life, you have to be great. If you're looking for if it's a woman listening to us talk right here and she wants a great guy, be great. Because that great guy wants that great girl. And if you're opposite, if you want a great woman in your life, you better be a great guy. You better be a real man. And what I mean by a real man is be a man. Don't be a mouse. Don't be somebody who's looking and seeing what he could get on the side here, now that. Be a man, be present, be the person that you want back to you. And you'll get it. I promise you'll get it. And be real. Be real. Create your life so great that you don't ever have to lie about it. You just live it. You want money, you go out and make money. You don't have to lie about what you have or not have. I never tell anybody. People just know. They know by looking, feeling, seeing. I own my houses outright. I'm not in debt. I don't have credit card debt. I'm not a debt guy. I don't buy things to make myself look better. Half the time I don't even wear a watch.
I agree. All you can be is you, right? So people will either like it or they won't. But thank you so much for this time. It was really awesome.
By the way, you asked great questions and you're an awesome person. I could tell.
Thank you.
I could tell when I talk to somebody who has character and ethics, and you're that person. And I could tell, like, maybe your mom and your dad and your family that helped raise you, maybe they're not perfect. My mom's not perfect, but they did something to give us goodness. And we created the rest from there. But we had that good foundation, kind of like I was talking about. As long as you get the foundation, then go speed of implementation and become better. I feel that that's what you did in your life.
Thank you so much. I try to. I believe in karma, and I believe in you know, in energies, and just being the best that I can, and learn from it, and then just grow from it. I don't like to hurt anyone. I just want an easy life. I want to have fun.
No.
Great people around, and I just want to live my life the best that I can. But thank you so much for noticing. Will you be my friend?
Always, always my friend. And now I have a friend in Zurich.
That's right. And me,
That's
that's
right. I come and visit and say hi.
So thanks, Paulie, and I'll be in touch. I would love to stay in touch.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You're phenomenal. Thank you so much. This was fun.
Thank you so much. Go to the gym now. Thank you.
Yes, gotta get muscles.
Bye.
Take care. See ya.
Favorite way to be without fear is in the now. I'm learning how. Fast life, no thanks, no, I'm doing just fine.